watching this video, chances are you clicked because you're wondering how a B student like me was able to end up at MIT. So in order to provide a little bit of context, I am actually from Latin America and went to a school that is not known and graduated as a B student. For real, nobody looked at me and thought, that kid is going places. So if you've seen some of my video, I basically went through a 10-year journey to get into my dream school, which is MIT. I actually first learned about MIT in 2008 after I watched the first Iron Man movie. In the Iron Man movie, I was basically obsessed with how Iron Man was interacting with an AI companion. And I love how he had an entire garage where he was tinkering with things. Okay, now let's not forget that he's actually rich. Like rich. He can literally do anything he wants with the money he got. But that's not all. He was also very smart. He was described as a prodigy. He basically went to MIT at a very young age and graduated at like 17 years old or something like that. Let me Google. Yeah, so he graduated from MIT at age 17 as a summa cum laude. So that's like the top honor. So anyway, I wasn't smart and I don't have parents who are rich. So what did I do? I actually did the SAT twice and I got very low score. I also did the TOEFL twice, which is an English as a second language test that international students have to take. So I applied to a bunch of universities here in the US and ended up rejected from most of them. I got accepted to Arizona State University and a private college called Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology, which was actually ranked as #1 for private engineering school that doesn't offer a PhD. So if you're from the Midwest or Indiana, you probably have heard of it. Anyway, if you're interested in any part of the story, let me know in the comment and I can make a video about it. So a lot of you are asking, what is the secret behind this? I started really hard in school and yet I couldn't retain a lot of the information. And after 2 engineering degrees from top universities, I can honestly say I still don't get the deep science behind a lot of the things that I build. But here's the cool part. In order to build cool things, you don't really need to. It would be great if you do, but you don't need to. So I'm just going to show you exactly how I do it. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you also will want to build something too. So let's start with the biggest idea. The one thing that changed everything for me. Okay, literally think about a car. Say you want to build one. You do not start by inventing the wheel. The wheels already exist. It was invented by very smart people very long time ago. So you look at the wheels, you try to understand it, see how it works, and then and only then you add your own ideas on top. That is the whole trick. Okay, I know it sounds very simplified, but the whole point is that I didn't start making things from scratch. I literally started looking up tutorials online and I started learning from them. And as I learn and gain more experience from practice, come up with more and more ideas that I can combine together and make something new out of it. Okay, I know what you're thinking. There's so many things out there to learn. It's very overwhelming. You have the programming part, you have the electronics, and all of that together makes you feel like there's a whole world out there that you need to learn in order to build something. And that's very true, but we can actually break it down into pieces. You learn one thing at a time, and I started with 3D printing. The first 3D printer I built back in 2012, I went to forum and looked at all the things that was needed in order to build it. I also reached out to students who have done it in my college and also a technician who actually built it in his own office. So that summer I went to his office every single day so I can get help from him. The first 3D printer that I built uses a microcontroller. A microcontroller is a mini computer that you can program and connect different sensors to it. So one of the easiest thing to start is using Arduino. Okay, so this is one of the most basic Arduino kits you can find. It got a lot of different electronic components. Right now it's empty because I have it somewhere in my lab. Okay, I found a few here. This is an example of a tiny microcontroller. It is essentially a hardware interface that you can use it to control different kind of sensor in the physical world. It's a way for us to use computer code to control the things around us. Here are some of the sensors that I have. I have a lot more. This is a microphone, and this is a breadboard where you can prototype all your different circuits. As I said, I learned it by watching YouTube videos. They literally gave me the code and the step-by-step of how to put every single pin with the different components that we have in a proto board. This is another microcontroller that I've been showing you how to use in later videos. Here is an Arduino Micro, and you can see the pins on the back. We got some other sensors right here, some LED display, some more LED, an IR receiver right here, which is basically what your remote control got, or your TV. One of the first projects that I did was using an Arduino to blink an LED light. It is literally the simplest thing you do when you you first use any kind of microcontroller in order to test that it actually works. So after that, you can move on to programming motors to make things move. Then you can take two projects together and make it into something bigger. For example, this is an augmented reality headset that I built from scratch from tutorial that I was able to find online. It's essentially two LCD screens that get projected into glasses where you can see things. And there's a motion sensor right here that can capture your hand gestures. Then you can get into more complicated things like building your own PCB board. For example, this one I built when I was at MIT taking the class called How to Build Almost Anything. But you know what? The best way to learn is actually teaching other people. So that's what I did after learning Arduino. I basically taught the basic of Arduino programming in Spanish in my other channel called Tinkerall. That was actually the first tech YouTube channel that I built. I know everything sounds so simple. It's not. But you gotta start somewhere. And the first step you have to take is start building something. Get started with an Arduino. Get an Arduino kit. Start by making blinking lights. You can even follow the tutorial I have on Tinkerall. It is in Spanish, but I think they dubbed them. And the code is actually all in English. And this is everything I learned outside of my engineering classes. Because most of the classes don't even teach you this kind of project. You have to pick a project yourself that you personally are interested in. Look it up online or even ask Claude. So I want to be real with you for a second. I am not a genius. I don't know everything. And I want you to understand that a lot of the people out there who are building cool things, they actually started with blinking lights. A lot of the engineering knowledge and the math and stuff like that, I already returned them, unfortunately, to my professors. And I think my brain just doesn't work like that. I have to work with my hands in order for me to remember the things. So I said I was gonna show you my home lab, and I sidetracked into all of this, but I really want you to hopefully start a project today. While I was a student at MIT, it was literally during the beginning of the pandemic. I won a grant from Google, basically money for me to buy anything I needed for my research. And since it was the pandemic, I basically built a home lab. I built a $4,000 computer because I needed a lot of graphics power to do a lot of augmented reality stuff for my research. But beside that, I also got this. So here is a 3D printer that I have right now, and I bought this one because I wanted to build like the Iron Man mask, and this one is big enough for me to print a whole helmet in one go. And here is a Raspberry Pi, which is another microcontroller, and it got Wi-Fi and stuff. So here I have an oscilloscope, which helped me debug the signal. Here we have a signal generator, and this is a variable power supply. So here we have my soldering iron, as you can see. This is the fume vacuum, because the soldering iron is kind of toxic. And I have a lot of different electronics right here, a mat to work on stuff, some more tools to do home repair, my really nice poster. Oh, and here is my heat gun. So this is a resin 3D printer that I have, and I haven't used it much because it gets very messy. Since it's using resin, you need to actually cure it with this machine after you 3D print it. This is the surface area that you can print on. The resolution is really good compared to using the other 3D printer, but it's mostly for rings or something that is this small. And resin get really sticky and messy, and it's really not good to touch with your hands. And then this is a CNC machine, which means that you can actually mill your own custom board right at home. But I haven't used this at all because I had access to MIT machines, which are really good. This is the room where I'm gonna be building a lot of different projects and showing it on this channel. I didn't have any of this when I started, and you don't really need that because all you need is a $10 microcontroller that you can get online. If there's anything I want you to get from this video, is that you don't need an engineering degree. You don't need to be a genius or like be good at math or science or engineering, whatever. All you need is the desire to start building something and go and do it. Right now, today, we're living in the easiest time in all of human history to learn how to build something. We have all this super smart AI tool to help us understand how something works. Anyway, I think I ramble enough for this video. And if you're new here, I'm starting to post more about all the different projects I do, as well as growing as a content creator. I will see you in the next one.